Welcome back. I'm here once again to shame myself on the internet. I'm currently doing a series of videos that I'm calling my ultimate bookshelf tour. And in these videos, I am showing you by genre all the books that I own, read and unread. This one is going to be the most embarrassing video of the series because today is fantasy. And I own an upsetting amount of fantasy books that I have not read yet. So just like last time, if you continue watching the video from this point, you are agreeing to be nice to me. But I get it. I'm upset by the amount of books that I have unread on my shelf and the amount of money I could have in my pocket instead. But there's still books that I'm excited to read whenever that day gets here. So I've already done my mystery thriller genre. Today's fantasy, and then let me know what genre you would like to see next. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you my read fantasy books. So I think I have one shelf here of read books and 5 unread fantasy shelves. Let's start with Brandon Sanderson. I have the beautiful UK covers of The Final Empire, Hero of Ages, The Well of Ascension, Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, and Bands of Mourning. Someone tell me how to get the Lost Metal UK paperback now that Book Depository is gone. And The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. River Mama by Zalika Reed Benta, Every Hearted Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, Beneath the Sugar Sky, and In an Absent Dream, all a part of the Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire, Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, What Feast at Night by T. Kingfisher, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, Prosper's Demon, Inside Man, and Blue and Gold by K.J. Parker. Get ready to see a lot of unread K.J. Parker. 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corlin, The Magicians by Lev Grossman, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, The Hogfather by Terry Pratchett, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, Legendborn by Tracy Dion, Uprooted and Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, Inkblood, Sister Scribe by Emma Tors, Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey, Unburied Carol by Josh Mallerman, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, The Deep by River Solomon, Galatea by Madeline Miller. I also have some young adult fantasy that I'm not going to include in this video. Let me know if anyone cares about those and want it to be in its own video, but we'll see about that. Moving on now to the outrageous amount of unread fantasy books. Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, Rhythm of War, and Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, The Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade, Temeraire by Naomi Novik, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch, Forged by Blood by Ahigbor Okasan, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, The Final Strife by Sarah El Arifi. Alright, we moved over to the rest of my unread fantasy is on the far left shelf. And we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Muro, Conjure Women by Afia Adekora, The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook, Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young, The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young, The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, Sign Here by Claudia Lux, The Hacienda by Isabella Cañas, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong, The Poppy War by R.F. Kwong, The Golem and the Jinni by Helene Wicker, Popisho by Leon Ross, Jade City by Fonda Lee, The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu, Voyage of the Damned by Frances White, The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, The Will of the Many by James Islington, Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher. Now I have a continuation of the Wayward Children series, Come Tumbling Down, Across the Green Grass Fields, Where the Drowned Girls Go, and Lost in the Moment and Found, all by Shauna Maguire, Will Do Magic for a Small Change by Andrea Hurston, The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix, The Dead Cattail Assassins by Peter Jelly Clark, In the Shadow of the Fall by Tobia Gunderin, The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin, The Way Spring Arrives and Other Stories, which is an anthology, a collection of Chinese science fiction and fantasy in translation from a visionary team of female and non-binary creators, edited and collected by Yu Chen and Regina Kanyu Wong. Not sure why I read that whole thing. Masquerade by O.O. Sangoyomi. A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wong. The Traitor Baru Cormorant by Seth Dickinson. A Deadly Education and The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. Bloodmarked and Oathbound by Tracy Dion. The Book of Magic, which is an anthology edited by Gardner Dozois. The Library of Legends by Janie Chang. The Starlit Wood, which is an anthology edited by Dominic Parisian and Nava Wolf. The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Rivers of London by Ben Aronovich. The Light Fantastic by Terry Pratchett. The Black God's Drums by Peter Jelly Clark. Oh, and then another copy of The Light Fantastic and Colors of Magic by Terry Pratchett. Can't Spell Treason Without T and A Pirate's Life for Tea by Rebecca Thorne. Natalie Tan's Book of Luck and Fortune by Roselle Lim. And also by her, Vanessa Yu's Magical Paris Tea Shop. Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. Keeper of Enchanted Rooms by Charlie N. Holmberg. In the Shadow Garden by Liz Parker. The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. I'm not sure if this one goes here. Big Machine by Victor Laval. Listen to this description. A Da Vinci Code for fans of Haruki Murakami and Chappelle Show. I've never heard such a description. It'll stay here for now until someone tells me otherwise. The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. The Last Wish by Andrei Sapkowski. The Crescent Moon Tea Room by Stacy Savinsky. The Midnight Library by CJ Polk. The Black Prism and the Blinding Knife by Brent Weeks. Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. Dangerous Women edited by George R.R. Martin. The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Cabinet of Curiosities edited by Anne and Jeff Vandermeer. The Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Rafi. The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nevo. Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth Emmy Lang. The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. The Mythic Dream edited by Dominic Parisian and Navo. So is that one. Who knew? People probably knew. Hench by Natalie Zena Walscotts. Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen. Wizards edited by Jack Dan and Gardner Dozois. In the Company of Witches by Arlie Wallace. I had book 2 of this in the mystery thriller video, so I'm gonna move that one over here, but here's the first book. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Secret History by Brandon Sanderson. Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. And Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. Dragon Prince by Melanie Ron. Dragon's Bane by Barbara Hambley. Guards by Terry Pratchett. And then I saved this stack for last because less people will be here still. You know how I read 3 short things by KJ Parker? That's all KJ Parker. Pulling the Wings Off Angels. The Devil You Know. The Last Witness. Sharps. Devices and Desires. 16 Ways to Defend a Walled City. The Two of Swords Volume 1. The Two of Swords Volume 2. Why Did I Need This? Evil for Evil. The Folding Knife. The Hammer. Okay, most embarrassing stack. Read some of the ones you already have. So, those are all the books on the TBR, but more importantly, let's count them and really solidify how bad this ratio is of read to unread fantasy books. 1 sec. All right, friends, the numbers are in. I have 26 read adult fantasy books, okay? That's it. But I do have 118 unread adult fantasy books. Honestly, I thought the numbers might be worse. I don't know why I thought I had like 300 unread fantasies. Over 100, still pretty bad. When I had 20 unread fantasy books, why didn't I feel satiated? But you know what? Admitting you have a problem is the first step, and that's why I'm making these videos, and that's why I haven't purchased a book since I started reorganizing my bookshelves and doing all the things I've been doing recently. And that's also why I'll be making my TBR jar and blah blah blah. So I know there's a problem. I'm working on fixing it, but first I'm going to show you all the books because it's actually fun to look at them all and get excited for them all again. So thank you all for watching. If you saw some favorites, if you saw some books that you want to see me read, even if you've never read them, just let me know. I would love to take some recommendations and pick up some books and get through some fantasies. Goodness. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye!